And good morning and welcome to Topcast Studio with me, your host, Joe. This week, we have a very special edition of Top Guest Studio for you. We're interviewing away from our typical location and have a live studio audience today too. And now, our top guest for this week grew up in Brisbane's inner north, but has travelled for 20 years, won the Army. He picked up a plumbing and gas trade on his Army Apprenticeship and has returned to Australia to work with local government and continue his career from here. Geoff has a wife and 2 children. He loves to go fishing and camping. Please welcome Geoff Woodall. Welcome to Topcast Studio, Geoff. So Geoff, I was amazed to read that when you joined the Army and the Army Apprenticeship, you completed a trade as a plumber and gas fitter. Tell me a little bit more about this.
Hi Joe, I joined the Army as an Army apprentice in 1989 after finishing school. The training is conducted over a couple of different sections. So initially we did our basic training and commenced our apprentice training in Albury-Wodonga down in Victoria. We spent 2 years there. After that period, and we've completed our TAFE modules, we moved to Sydney where we got our on-the-job experience on variety of jobs across the Sydney metropolitan area.
That's so cool, Geoff. I also read that you had been involved in a program known as the Aboriginal Army Community Assistance Program, where you spent 4 to 6 months working in a remote Aboriginal communities. What type of projects were you involved with, Geoff?
Yeah, so I participated in the ACAP program while I was in the Army. Across 5 different communities where I was involved in. I commenced in the very first ACAP was in 97 up in Bulla in the Northern Territory, just about 60 kilometres from the NT-WA border. I've also participated in programs in Tully, Palm Island, Melville Island off Darwin, and over in Fitzroy Crossing in the Kimberley Coast. Generally, they involve housing and infrastructure projects for the community, as well as health and training for the local CDP programs. So we conduct or construct housing for the community. We also did infrastructure works where we took out all the septic systems that were generally failing and installed sewage infrastructure for the community, sewage treatment plants or ponds. We also generally undertook some sort of civil program, so whether it's road rectification, restoration, airfield construction. So a lot of these communities, where they're especially remote communities, have to travel to an adjacent station, which could be 100 or hundreds of kilometres away from the community to access the Royal Flying Doctors service. So we generally construct, if it wasn't one locally, an airstrip for the RFDS to land to support that community. So there's a wide range of tasks that the Army and nowadays the Defence undertake within the ACAP scope of works.
That is so cool. Now, what does your current role involve when you look after 5,000 plumbing and drainage applications? Who is making all those applications, Geoff?
Right, so it's a requirement under the state legislation for any plumbing and drainage work for new and existing properties to have an application. So everyone who wants to build a new house, build a new warehouse or a multi-storey residential towers that you see on the Gold Coast need an application before they can start that work. We assess them for compliance with the Australian standards before they start the work. And the team also do inspections of the work during construction to make sure it meets the requirements of the standard. We've got a team of 30 plumbing and drainage inspectors, and a lot of the people that are in the audience this morning are our administration team. They support the plumbing and drainage team, and I think with Kelly there's about 11 staff that support them. They do the administrative functions, issue the permits, receive the applications, make sure that they're all right for the guys to go. So once they receive them, they're just checking the plans to make sure they're right to go. And they also issue all the permits or the certificates once the work's completed.
All right. I understand that you met your wife in Townsville and have been married for 24 years with 2 children. Now, tell me, Geoff, what are the secrets to a good marriage?
So, I think I better be very diplomatic with this answer, considering all our audience are female. No, I think there's a lot of teamwork that's required in a good marriage. Plus also knowing when you're either wrong or know when to shut your mouth and admit defeat. So it's predominantly around the teamwork and having a good understanding and a good communication with one another.
Us blokes have to do that sometimes.
Yes.
Now, tell me a bit more about your kids and their sporting ambitions. I understand that they both represented Queensland.
Yeah, so they're both getting a bit older now. My daughter's now 22 and my son's 18. My daughter's representative career is a little bit behind her. She sort of finished her representative sporting when she finished school. She moved out to Katherine shortly after that and worked in a small Aboriginal special needs school out in Katherine. She's since moved back to Townsville and plays rugby league now, but she represented Queensland in touch football. My son, who's now 18, he's represented Queensland and Australia in inline hockey and ice hockey as well. So quite different sports, and a lot of people may not have heard of the sport of inline and ice hockey. He's been involved with that since about 11 years old. He's extensively travelled, more than myself actually. He's in the last 18 months travelled to Hong Kong, New Zealand and America, and most recently he's just got back from sort of Hawaii. So representing Australia in inline hockey, so he's been very successful.
That's awesome, Geoff, awesome. Now, what was it like watching Ben participate in international competition for the first time?
Well, the very first time, I think Robin and I were more nervous than he was. I think he was 12 years old, representing Australia over in California at the Junior Olympics over there. So I was very nervous for him. He was probably one of the younger kids in the team, he did very, very well. So they came home from the Junior Olympics with a gold medal in their division, and he's since sort of won a couple of other coloured medals in various competitions also.
And do they get any of their sporting ability from you, Geoff?
No, I think most of that's from their mother, unfortunately.
Alright, now, here we are. Now, guys, for you who don't know or have not watched my YouTube channel, it's time for the Rapid Fire Round. Geoff, are you ready?
Yes, Joe.
Alright, here we go. What is your favourite movie?
The Great Escape.
Favourite location to go camping with your family?
Up in Townsville, just out west near Charters Towers.
What is the biggest fish you've caught?
80 centimetre barramundi.
What would you prefer? Load or unload the dishwasher at home?
Unload it.
Favourite sport to watch on the weekend?
Rugby union.
What was your favourite European country to visit?
England.
Do you have a pet?
Yes, I've got a dog named Chloe.
Favourite meal and who cooks it?
A roast and me.
And would you like to continue living on the Gold Coast?
We live in the northern areas of the Gold Coast. It'd be lovely to move down closer to the beach and surface one day.
Thank you so much for letting me interview you, Geoff. It has been amazing hearing about you and your family's travels. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Top Guest Studio with me, Joe. We will see you again next week for another great show.